All right, hello everyone and welcome. I'm so excited to be live. I am Diana Hidalgo, your burnout coach, and I'm here with the amazing John Carroll. I'm super excited. I haven't done a live interview in a while, but here we go. It's been a few. Welcome, John. Introduce yourself, please.
You betcha. My name is John David Carroll, and I am from San Diego, California. Fortunately, we have a second home here in Sedona, about 6 to 8 doors away from Tiani here, and very, very fortunate to be around this person. She has changed my life in so many ways.
Yay! So excited to have you. Okay, so I have a lot of questions, and I think that I really love your personal background and your story and your family, and we've gotten to know each other because he already said we live in the same community. We're here in Sedona. We live a few houses away from each other, and it's been such a pleasure and such a joy to learn about him, to understand him, and to understand his story. And that's why I think it'll really resonate with you all. And so, that said, let's talk a little bit about how we met. I know we met here in Sedona, but we pretty much just started hanging out.
Yeah, my wife and I were down at the community pool, and Tiani was down there with her son, and we just started talking. And we were the only folks there, I believe, at the time. And then some other folks had pulled in, but we just developed a relationship and had common interests, that is hiking and the outdoors in Sedona for sure.
Absolutely, and we've been hanging out ever since.
Yeah, jeeping and walking and dinners.
Yeah, we'll do a couple videos on jeeping at some point, I'm sure. Okay, so y'all have to come to Sedona. You know how amazing it is. I talk about it all the time. I know that you post about it all the time. It's I call it magic. It's my piece of heaven, my slice of heaven. I don't know what you call it, but
we've been coming here for 21 years, and through some things that we're about to talk about, it really, really made me, so much more thankful for what this place is. And I'm a surfer, and I've been a surfer all my life, and I never thought I'd be someone that expresses himself. Let's call it be a hippie. And man, I'm on my way. I even wear stuff like this on my wrist now. And I just never thought of myself, pulling this energy in from this place. It's absolutely terrific.
Welcome to the hippie lifestyle.
Right.
We've been talking about that a lot lately.
Yeah.
And blessed to know some of the friends that you know, like Robert, and some of the amazing people that you associate with. So it's been my honor also to just be in his world and in his community. Okay, so let's get started because I really want to get into your story. So tell us about your health and what has been going on in the last few years.
So September 26th of 2018, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, or rectal cancer, and began a path of, radiation and chemotherapy, and the cancer metastasized quite quickly into my liver. So I've been through 17 surgeries, 12 pretty major, including open heart surgery this year, which I got blood clots, had a small stroke, hematomas. Spent a lot of time in the hospital this year. It's been a rough go there. And so it's 17 surgeries, 12 major, tiny stroke. It's been a bit of a burden, and that's all within the last 4 years, all the surgeries. But I've been through 39 chemo infusions as well.
Yeah, and it's amazing because I love that you post about it online and you kind of share. He shares his story, and it's like live and just raw and just
full of energy.
And full of energy because, as you can see, even though he's talking about all his surgeries and all the things he's been through, he still has a smile on his face, which is for me so endearing because it's not everyone that can handle that kind of life and still have a smile on your face and still really enjoy the things that you're doing. Right?
Every chemotherapy I went to for the first 12, I dressed up as a different person. I went, as Rocky for my last one when I rang the bell, and I went as a lifeguard with my daughter and a bowler with my sister, and it was quite fun. And the nurses absolutely loved it, and so did the other patients.
Oh my gosh, I bet you are everyone's favorite patient. Are you not?
I bring in, every time I go to chemo, I bring a bag, and there's usually 7 new people in there, and I bring a bag with a note in it that says you're not alone, my name and my story. And there's 7 candies in there, and it's just some things about how to go through chemo. And yes, people do love it, and the nurses love it, so it's fun.
Okay, so I have to say one thing about you and I and our story and how it relates to this stuff, because I called you what? What did I name you?
Oh, bucket filler.
So I named him the bucket filler because ever since we've met and every time we hang out and go anywhere, he's constantly dropping, I call it sparkles, but for him it's definitely filling buckets because he drops little nuggets of either wisdom, kindness, water, apples. Like, I think I've seen you do it all at this point. But he doesn't just do it for one person, one perspective. Like, he pretty much just spreads the rainbows all over.
It's so easy for me and my personality.
Absolutely. And I love his wife, and his wife is always just shaking her head like, here he goes again.
39 years of love and forgiveness.
One day I think I'll interview her too. So
She's
we'll
amazing.
get into that.
She's my rock.
Absolutely. Okay, so that said, I want to talk about a couple things. First, let's talk about, I know you've probably gone through a gajillion feelings as you've been going through these years and all these experiences, but I know that you specifically felt down and depressed and had all those feelings. I want to know how you started shifting. I know that Susan has certainly been your rock for that, but what else contributed to that?
Well, I'm just going to say Tiani Hidalgo absolutely changed my life.
I'm not paying him for that.
No, not at all. No, and I mean it. It's, from the heart. It was amazing. I was talking to her, we met probably 3 or 4 months ago, and for a couple of months I was telling her, I think I'm depressed, I think I'm going through depression, and she stayed quiet. Tiani didn't say anything to me, and it never felt like she was judging me or anything like that, but I literally thought I was depressed, and clinically depressed. And, you meet someone like this, and, you're around my wife or my kids who are also very, very active, fun, complimentary people, and, she came to me and she said, "John, have you ever heard of burnout?" And I'd never heard of burnout other than, some burnout surfer or whatever, and so she talked to me a bit, Tiani did, about clinical depression. What is the definition, of depression? What is the definition of burnout? And I'll leave it to you to, you folks out there to,
I'll drop those nuggets in the comments.
Okay, there you go. When she talked to me, she said, "John, do you do this? Do you cry? Do you have, times where you don't want to be with your friends, or you don't want to do the things you've always loved to do?" And I'm like, "No, I'm always happy and go lucky." And she goes, "Listen, every time, knowing me for only 4 months, but knowing my story over the last 4 or 5 years, every time I got back on my feet, I would get knocked back down. I wasn't allowed to lift 5 pounds from October, more than 5 pounds from October until January 30th when I had my open heart surgery, and then it went all the way to April. And then I was able to start lifting a little bit more, and then I had a small stroke, and I'm knocked down, and I was in the middle of cardiac rehab. So I had to stop that for a couple of months. And then some other things set in, but like she said, every time, even from 3, 4, 5 years ago, that's why the 17 surgeries come in, I'd get knocked down. And she says, "John, you're burned out. You're burned out, you're tired of all this." And we had a great discussion, and I realized that I'm just burnt out, I'm not depressed.
Right.
I'm living a full life, always had this on my face, and just feel great, except for getting knocked back down and feeling depressed. And, by definition, when she helped me to know that it was burnout, it changed my entire life, my direction. I'm going to go back to work hardcore this year, it looks like. I haven't done that in about 3 years with COVID and my immunocompromised state over the last few years. I'm still on chemo, and so I really have to be careful who I'm with and who I'm around, but man, I'm fired up. I want to get back out there and spread the love and, create more business for my wife and I, and get back to it and, reconnect with those that are out there. And that's the word that I'm going to keep in front of myself this entire next year. I've always, in the business world, kept the word in front of me, in front of my computer, around me, that I even kept it in my wallet, and just go back to that word. And this next year, 2024, the word for me is going to be reconnect. Reconnect with clients, reconnect with friends, reconnect with those that, in my 56 years, I've developed amazing relationships. And it's not like I've shelved any of them, but I haven't manicured or manifested them in a positive manner
I
because I've
would
been so burned out.
I would say you reconnected to yourself, because I always feel like even in the last few years with people going through COVID and all that, it's always kind of been a return to self, and then you figure out what you're made of,
Yeah.
right? Because it gets my heart every single time when I hear you talk about all the things you've been through, and you still have a smile on your face. You're still brave in your life. You're still wanting to get out there. You still want to reconnect with people. You'd think that by now you'd be sick of everyone, and you're like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Take me, but you're not. And that's the amazing part of who you are. So I love that you chose the word reconnection, because it feels so aligned to you right now.
Right, and it's really, where I feel I need to be, and continue to spread the word of for me, it's advocation and awareness of cancer, and get your stuff checked.
Yes. Get your stuff checked. Okay. So thank you for that, because it's been an honor for me to be here for you and just to witness you and hold space for you.
You're using the word honor in yourself, and I'll tell you what, there is no need for that, because it is truly, I feel like I have this mentor around me all the time now that is just incredible. I mean, this woman has changed my life and my wife's life, because I'm different. I'm filling her bucket more, and she said that to me one day. She said, you're not filling my bucket as much as you are everybody else. And all right,
let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, get a trash can, girl.
I love that. Okay, so let's move on to that then, because I want to talk about what are your feelings of deep joys now? Like, what brings you joy? How do you stay aligned, brave, and on your path? Because this next year, I really want to talk about people who are brave, right? How do you stay on track? How do you stay aligned? How do you, what has that been for you?
I have to say that most of my alignment comes from my wife, for sure. But it also comes from just all the relationships that I have around me, and I have such a diverse group of people. I mean, here in Sedona, I haven't been with the mountain bike group, but I have a golf group, I have a pickleball group, a Jeep group, and at home I have far more than that, and in San Diego, and so I think it's the relationships and the playing tennis, pickleball, going to work, meeting clients, realtors or lenders, escrow, anything. Everybody just keeps me so fired up, and I think that's where my alignment is relationships.
Hands down, agree with you. I mean, this whole reconnection thing has to do with your relationships with people, so that's like your deep gift, I think, to the world. Just your ability to connect with people through your personal stories and pains and all that stuff, and how you get through it. Oh, love it. Okay, so is there anything that you want to encourage people to examine in their lives to shift their perspective?
Certainly. I would say your path. Where do you want to be in a year, not in 3 months? You can't, in our business, you can't think first quarter. You've got to be thinking of what you're doing your first quarter is going to align you with your fourth quarter, and so strategic path is really where you need to be thinking, and who are you relating with, and are there people that you shouldn't be relating with, and there's a word in business that worked when we owned bike shops for 26 years. 80% of your business came from 20% of your clientele. It's about massaging that 20% that creates the 80%. Or from the 80%, it creates business. And so, think about who you're with, whether it be a boss, or your relationship, whatever it may be. Think long term.
It's funny that you say that, because I was in the massage business, and I always felt like 80% of my clients were repeat clients or people that they connected me with. So it was all connections and
referrals.
Yeah. That was the key for me in my business.
Absolutely, and it is I'm in the real estate world now, and have been for about 24 years. My wife and I work for Fidelity National Title, and it's an incredible place and a wonderful place to work, and everybody in our office is amazing, and they, I think, are on the same path where you go in there and everybody is aligned. It doesn't matter whether it's unit 1 or unit 3 or unit 4 or escrow, whatever. Everybody's united, and it has this path for the company to go forward, and it's so important to boy, just be happy. And I know it's so difficult for so many people out there because you don't have another job choice or what have you. So, make your weekends count, just find a way to find peace and harmony in your life, and that creates a path as well.
Absolutely.
And, that's where I've refound, peace and harmony instead of worry about depression. I know that I'm just burned out from this stuff and I just laugh at it. But I always have, but now it's more intentional. It's like, oh, I'm back in the hospital again with another hematoma. Well, it's going to be 2 days, 2 weeks. We'll see, But
I think that's the key, isn't it? I mean,
really,
just bringing joy, laughter into it. I talk about, from a work perspective, creating a culture of care, but that's also applicable to your personal life. Like, how do you create that culture in yourself, right, of caring and just supporting yourself, and that's usually through laughter and joy and finding the good and positivity and all that, right?
I agree, and knowing where you sit in a world. I'm a type B, OCD, not OCD, what do you call it? Hyperactive, whatever. I was in elementary school. I was the chalkboard cleaner and the closet cleaner because I was so active. Active. But anyway.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so awesome. I love that. So any final thoughts that you want to leave people with that can just create, some supportive structures? So how can they get started creating that kind of way of thinking and just, living their lives?
Writing down what makes you happy. First and foremost, I wrote down what makes me happy. And it was a long list. And then what doesn't make me happy. And it's so easy for me to tune someone out or to tune out a problem now. And it feels good to have those things written down. And, you want to make that, what makes you happy, bigger, and what makes you unhappy, kind of put it behind you. And don't look at that list. Just know that this is where you need to be.
Right.
Over here in the health zone, in a place where you're not going to feel burnt out, if at all possible. And by the way, we've been talking about depression or burnout, and if any of you are going through depression, God bless you, and I wish you well. And if you think you're going through depression, get some help. But, you've really got to take care of yourself. And so I guess if I could leave, my biggest thing is, my leave is check your stuff. I have some t-shirts that are coming out where they have a big check engine light on the front with a check mark on it, a blue check mark for the cancer. And on the back, it says no colon left behind, and then it's a colon that comes down, and at the bottom it says check your shit.
I love it.
I think I'm going to change the shit to something else, but like turds or something.
Or junk or whatever.
Whatever, But, advocacy and awareness for me is where I want to, leave everybody. Cancer has been no fun for me. It's been no fun for my family. My kids went through, and I didn't know it, but my son went through some pretty tough times that I didn't know about until he came home through COVID from ASU. And, my daughter was going through nursing school at SDSU, and it was quite fun for her because she got to flush my PICC line. She got to flush I had 3 drains at one point, and spending all the time in the hospital.
Get all the family involved.
Well, the nurses would let my daughter come in and work on me and do things. It was quite fun. And my wife or daughter would bring her friends in, and and
fun.
look at no one gets to flush my dad but me.
That's fun.
So anyway, check your stuff. I'm sorry it turns into this, being my thing.
No, absolutely. I love it. And I love it because I did this whole show on top called Purpose with Passion. And I feel like for you, the really deep-seated part of you is actually being purposeful and using all the things that you've been through to then empower other people. And
right.
It turns into your passion, right? It turns into the things that you want to bring out into the world. So use all your shit, all of your pains, all of your whatever to just, move forward, but also empower other people, right? Spread the rainbow, spread the love, fill the buckets, all the things.
Right, and share it with friends.
Yeah.
Like I am on Facebook, John David Carroll. I'm sharing my story since the very beginning, and I'll never forget the first text I put out, or the first post I put was just a boxing ring, I think it was, and but I put out, I've been invited into the ring by cancer, and the mayor of Chula Vista was with my friend, and she said, "Who gets 700 comments?" You know, well, John Carroll is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know,
and it's your energy, it's your perspective, it's, you know, what you bring out in there to talk
yeah,
about these things.
and it's what I've done for other people, and I'm saying that because I know it and I feel it.
Yeah.
It's what I've done for other people over the years that people really engage with me, and
Right.
you know,
That
so many
connection.
people call me their hero or their warrior, and you know, I am a warrior. I don't consider myself a hero because, yeah, I just want to help, you
Yeah.
know, and
Wow.
there are warriors
Your
out
bravery
there.
makes you a hero, I tell you that.
Thank you.
You don't have to say it, but we'll say it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, cool. So where can we find you on Facebook, Instagram, and all the channels?
So Instagram, I'm Johnny Title, and at Johnny Title, right? And JOHNNY Title, TITLE. And then on my Facebook, it's John David Carroll. And
I love it.
yeah.
And I'll tag you and I'll link you so everybody can find you. And it's been such a pleasure, such a joy. It's been my honor, seriously.
We're gonna fight on that one.
So thank you all for joining me. I'll be reposting this on all the channels. I am Dani Hidalgo, and if you need support, if you need to get a deeper understanding of your burnout experience and really reconnect to your purpose, look me up, find me on Facebook, on Instagram under the same name, and I'll see you next time. Thank you
And
so
if
much.
any of you are gringos out there, that's Tiani, okay? Hidalgo. The way she says it is more difficult.
Yeah, right on. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.